Hello Flosstube, I'm Tanya the Starlit Stitcher and welcome to my cross stitch channel. It's been a couple weeks since I last saw you guys, so I've got quite a bit to show you. I'm very happy with all the progress that I made. But first I'm going to address the comments that were left on the last video from when I was talking about I'm going to be doing videos maybe every other week instead of every week anymore. Nobody was mean in response to that, so that was great. And most people were pretty understanding, and basically a summary of what all you guys had to say is I'm somewhere in between finding my place in Flosstube and being my own worst critic. Aren't we all? But anyhow, I did want to let you guys know that I did read them all and I appreciate them all. I didn't get around to liking and hearting them all yet. I did have a couple of weird comments that I'm pretty sure were bots, so if anybody saw those, I do apologize. I deleted them. They were like, "Oh, you're so beautiful and curvy." I'm just like, okay, you're weird, bye. If anybody knows how I can block the bots that are doing that over on Twitter, well, no, I can block them, but I don't know how to delete their comments. So like if I block them, I don't have to see it no more, but then everybody else is still stuck seeing it. So if you know how I can actually delete people's comments on my stuff that's spammy and body and all that, let me know in the comments so I can take care of that too. But anyhow, let's move on to the next thing. I got a couple of comments on my Instagram about the Needleminders that I use, alright? So I'm going to do a demonstration because I can talk about how awesome they are in comments, but unless you actually really see, because you know, some of them are kind of expensive. They're like, they can be like 15 bucks, sometimes more if they're like really fancy or whatever, you know? So nobody wants to waste a whole bunch of money on them and then you get them and they're really crappy. Your needle keeps falling off and yeah. So this was the one that got the comments. This is the one that I've been using on my unicorn put for sale. It says, "I wish I was a unicorn so I could use my head and stab idiots," or something like that. I can't read backwards, but it's funny. It cracks me up. I got this from Kimsneedleminders on Etsy, and I love it. I have several of them from her of varying styles and designs, so they're not all cutesy or whatever like this. There's also like goth style ones and Disney characters and some that are decorated with like crystals and rhinestones and stuff. So there's a wide variety on price range too. But I like these, and they all work the same way. So they're all the same quality magnetic wise, okay? So I'm going to try and demonstrate this for you. Alright, so you see how it kind of like sucks my needle in towards that? Some people don't like that. I like that. That's what I like in a Needleminder. So like I can plop it on there and I can wave it around like this. And that sucker's not going anywhere. Alright? So this is what I cannot describe in the comments about how I can do this. And it's not going anywhere. It ain't falling off or nothing. I know there's a lot that you cannot do that with, and I don't generally really promote stuff on my channel because I know how it can be annoying sometimes, but these are really great. Like, if I did not think they were great, I would not be telling you about them. My second up favorite ones that I have is some that I picked up from Heaven and Earth Designs, because they sell Needleminders on their website too, not just the full coverage. And this is the one that I've been using on land that I love. This one's just a rainbow bright one, but they have, you know, not a whole ton of options, but there is, you know, quite a bit to choose from. And this one's kind of, I mean, it's not as vacuumy with my needle, but I can put it on there and it's not going anywhere either. So these are my second favorite. So they don't hold as well as the ones that I have from Kimsneedleminders on Etsy, but the ones from Heaven and Earth Designs are my second favorite. Now I do have Needleminders also from other places, but those are my top two sources for them of those that I've tried so far. So let's move into the stitching because I did a lot of that in the last 2 weeks. So let's start first. Well, firstly, let me put these over on my table back here before I knock them off because I'm special that way. All right. So let's start with the unicorn poop for sale. This was my focus piece for Maydear May. I wanted to basically get all the way across the top. And any more if I could, but basically at least all the way across the top. And I did really good with that, you guys. So, here it is. I made my goal for May actually a few days early. I think I might have done it by Friday, possibly. And then I moved on into other projects instead of putting more into this one. And so I've got the top 8 pages done. And I have like 3/4 done on page 9, which I had already had that done the last time you guys seen it. I just want to give you guys a close-up on where it will be for the next page. I outlined the pages with my blue water-soluble marker. I know, horror stories, right?
We can't see it very good.
But that's what I do. There's where it's looking. I love this project and I can't wait to work some more on it. Woohoo! That feels really good when you set a goal and you reach it, right? Doesn't it? So I'm going to put that over here to the side. And I'm going to move this to the side as well. Okay, next up was Land That I Love by Teresa Kogut. I didn't work on this one as much as I would have liked to in these last couple weeks because last week I got hit with a spring/summer cold pretty hard. And I generally work on this in my mornings, but I needed to get some extra sleep. So my time towards Land That I Love was, you know, quite a bit down last week. But I got a lot done in the week before that. So let me show you where it's at. Here it is. Let me try and back up the tripod a little bit. Oh, careful. Okay, there we go. Look at that. It's looking so good. I love this one. And I forgot to tell you what I've been stitching stuff on again, okay? So we're still fairly at the beginning of the stitching. So Unicorn Poop for Sale. That is an 18 count easy grid Ada is what I'm stitching that on. And I'm stitching it with 2 threads full cross. Okay. This one I am stitching on a 32 count Silvery Moon Lugana by Witchell. With all of the called for flosses, and I'm stitching it 2 over 2. So I did have to start with having extra flosses because the called for is just 1 thread over 2 on 35 count. So I knew coming out the gate I was going to need more floss. So far my floss supply is looking good. If I have to buy any more than that, or if I end up using less than what I thought, basically I'll give you a summary of my floss usage whenever this is all done, in case if someone else does the same thing as I do with 2 over 2 or whatever. But this is looking great. I think the last time I showed this to you guys, let me change my angle here. I think I had up to the O done on the top and across here to the 1, 2, 3. So what's new is I put in some more border around there at the corner. I think I put in this bird and all of these flowers here. And I probably had these 2 compasses in already, but I might have also done those. And so, yeah. This is probably my favorite project right now. I mean, I love them all, but I don't know, I just like this one a lot. Hang on, honey. Oh, school's out for the summer, so if you hear any laughing or commentary, that's what that is. I have company again today. Alright, and so
on Thursday
I also got my stitch-alongs cut up for the June assignments because I'm going on the road trip to go and get my daughter from California, and so I wanted to try and get my stitch-alongs done before I leave to go and do that. And so that is what I did this weekend.
Yeah.
Okay, so first up is the music shop from Nutcracker Village by Cottage Needleworks. I wasn't sure if I was going to actually get this in time or not because it said it wasn't going to ship until Friday. Thankfully, it shipped a couple of days quicker than that, and I was able to start this on Saturday. And this is what I've been working on the last few days because we've been doing a whole bunch of random stuff in the last few days. A birthday party. We did a fish fry at church, which, by the way, was really good. Our church people here in Arkansas, they all know how to cook. Nobody has to worry about starving around here. But anyhow,
so we're going to Grandma Valley's house on Thursday.
This is where it's at. Oh, I have to note, they threw us another curveball with this release, right? Okay, so I thought that they were going to come out with the toy store, which goes here, right? Which, as you remember, last month they sent us the candy store, which goes on this side, so that was kind of a little bit odd. But now they sent us the music store, which goes down below it. And I'm like, okay then. So heads up, guys. This month's release for Nutcracker Village, it goes in the bottom row. Again, as I told you last time, if you've already started it and it's not where it's supposed to go, don't worry about it because they're all the same size, and really, who else besides you is gonna know? Nobody. So, yeah. This is an 18 count raw linen Ada, and it is an opalescent fabric. There you go. And this is just a piece that I had in my stash already when the series was released, and so I am not using the called for 32 count raw linen, raw silver linen, or whatever it is that it calls for. I'm using an 18 count raw opalescent linen, something like that. 1, 2, 3 stitch carries it, but it's an 18 count Ada, so if you're an Ada stitcher, you can stitch it on this like I am. You do have to pierce the middle of the stitches in some places to deal with the back stitching on the words in the windows, but it's not that much. So yeah, there we go. It's coming up really pretty. I like that one as well.
Me too.
Let's set that to the side. Here we go.
Flea market baskets.
See, she likes my stitching too. Can you tell?
I like flea market baskets.
Flea market baskets. This is the stitch along that I'm also doing with Fat Quarter Shot, which Nutcracker Village is also going along with Fat Quarter Shot. This is by Holt. What I like about this pattern is all the different colors. It's very soothing and calming to me. I don't know why, it just is, but that's why I like it, and it's coming along really well. This month was these 3 baskets here, and so that is what I did, and here is where it's at. On this one, I'm using the called for fabric and flosses. The called for is a 25 count cloud Lugana or vintage cloth by Holt, and the flosses are all just DMC. I forgot to mention on my Nutcracker Village, I did the fabric on the flosses. They're all called for, except for I'm using DMC white instead of Classic Colorworks Snowball. That's my flosses change on Nutcracker Village. I'm not changing anything on Flea Market Baskets. But if you're over on Instagram, there are some people who are doing the gingham in like a color combination of gray, which looks fabulous. So if you prefer that colorway, you could probably shoot them a message and they'll probably tell you what all that they're using. But this is where Flea Market Baskets is at. Alright, and so bonus stitching. I had to finish. I had to finish. And here it is.
It's a unicorn, isn't it? Apollo. That's called a unicorn.
Okay.
It's
So
for Addison.
this is going to be a Christmas gift for one of my 3 nieces. And
it's for Addison.
it came out of a kit by Maydear. It's just called Unicorn. That's it. Just really generic. It's an 11 count Ada, and it was pre-stamped. And so
She had to,
probably some people might have an aneurysm when I say this, but
she had to use a Reno pillow.
I washed it when I was done to take off all of that ink, so all of those extra grids are gone. All of the ink that was underneath, those are all gone. And as you can see, you can't see any of that remaining on the project. Yeah. Now the key to that is temperate water will work, but it will take a lot longer.
Can you show this?
And so, sorry for my snuffling. I still have a little bit of that cold going on, but yeah, we're dealing with it. But anyhow, I use as hot water as I can get out of the tap. I do an initial rinse, then I fill the sink, and I put the project down in there, make sure all of it is in there, leave it in there for like 5 minutes, take it out, empty all the water out, rinse it again, and then refill the sink again, and then set it back in there for as long as it takes to get the rest of the ink out. The green ink that was stamped on this one was a little more stubborn than most that I've done in the past. It took about an hour to soak in the super hot water, but it did all come out. Most of the time it's only going to take you like 10 to 20 minutes to get it all out, so not very long. But there is some variety in that. So if it's not out within that time, just soak it longer. It'll be fine. I didn't use any soap or anything. I just used just plain water. That's it.
Mom, can you show this too?
She wants to show you guys this. I don't know why, but yeah.
It's Elsa and Anna.
Okay, so there's that. As far as like fully finishing this is I cut it out to be a 12 by 12. I had some 14 by 14 pillows that I wanted to use for these projects, but I haven't made a pillow this big before, and so I went to go and do my back. I did not leave as much as an overlay right here as I probably should have, and so when I put the 14 by 14 pillow in there, it fit good, and the fluffiness was awesome. I really liked it, but my overlay split like that, so that the pillow was and that kind of bugged me. So I put the 12 by 12 pillow in this one, and when I go to make the other 2 projects that I want to do for these Christmas gifts, because they're all getting these pillows, is I'm going to make my overlay bigger. Like this here, these pieces in the back that I do, I usually overlay it by like 1 inch or so, but I'm probably on the other ones going to overlay it by like 3 inches, and then that'll take care of the belly opening or whatever you want to call it. Also, another thing that I do on my stitching before I turn it into these pillows like this is I use some stuff by, I think the company's called Palon, Palon, I don't know, but it's called Fusible Fleece. What it is you iron it onto the back of your project. It's got like glue on it, and so it keeps your stitching pulled to the back to hopefully prevent them from pulling out the front, if that makes any sense. The instructions talk about using some sort of thing where you put in your thing in like that, and then there's like a thing that latches down like that, kind of like a copy machine, but it's like I guess it's called a steam press or whatever. I don't have one of those, obviously, so I just lay my iron on there and I move it around to the different sections of the whole thing until I have it all on there, which normally only takes like 2 sections. This took like 7 because it's a lot bigger than what I normally do for a pillow size, but hey. It still works, right? And then as for this blue fabric, this just came in a pack of fat quarter bundle that I got from Walmart. You can probably get away with using just one fat quarter if you cut it right. I didn't feel like doing weird math, so I used 2 separate fat quarters to cut the different pieces from, and I saved my extras. If you're a smarter person than me, you could probably get it all out of just one piece. So there's that. And then this little strip down here at the bottom, that's not really there on purpose, even though it kind of looks like it. I had a boo-boo when I was cutting my Ada after I was done. Somehow or another, I put it in the wrong spot from the rest of my fabrics, which if I was smart, I would have cut them like, you know, separate, one at a time to make sure, but I didn't. I tried to stack them up, and that's what happened. This one ended up getting cut a little bit too short down there, and so I needed to make it longer. So this is what I like about pillows. If you mess it up, there's a lot of ways that you could fix it, and yeah. I just added the strip down there at the bottom, and that's how we fixed it to get it back to a 12 by 12. So there you go. 1 out of 3 Christmas presents for my nieces finished. Woohoo! I will not be starting the next kit until after I get back from the trip. Alright? Okay, so let's talk about the list. We have not seen this in a month. Now, since you all last saw this, I finished 3 things. I finished The Bloom Where You Planted by Lindy Stitches, since you last saw this. I finished the Cream Sharpay Puppy for my mom. And I finished that unicorn kit that I just showed you. So, woohoo! 2 out of those 3 things are fully finished. The Cream Sharpay, I'm waiting until these other colors are all done, and those will all get fully finished into ornaments. I'm just waiting on that so that I can keep them symmetrical, matching, whatever, as much as I can. Alrighty, so we still have a lot of the same projects going because they're really big, especially Pandemic, which I feel bad that I have not shown you guys how that's been going in the last couple of weeks because I haven't touched it. Not necessarily because I don't want to, but between I was focusing on the unicorn poop for sale for Mania and getting sick and still having a lot of rain and some tornado warnings, which was also really fun, it just didn't happen this month. So my goals for June is basically to prep for July, because I want to do Christmas in July. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do my best to finish at least 1 more of the active projects that I have going, and then I'll be in a better spot to start something, because I really, really want to start something again. And I'm trying to be good. I definitely don't need any squirrels, alright? No more squirrels this year. I've already done enough of the squirrels. I was like, oh, I see that. I'm going to do it. How am I supposed to do all this if I keep doing that? Yeah. I still don't think that I'm in a terrible spot to try and, I mean, you know, the goal is I want to do as many of these off of this list as I can before the year is up. Alright? So, my summary is, I don't think that I'm going to get to them all, but I still feel really good about getting to a lot of them and having them done before we get into 2023. So, I feel really good about this still. I mean, you know, Land That I Love is coming along pretty good. It's almost 3/4 of the way done. Unicorn Poop for Sale, I've got 3 1/4 pages to go before I meet that goal that I want to have done for it. And Pandemic, that's halfway done, so I've still got quite a bit to go on that, but hopefully with the weather being anticipated to be better here in June, hopefully I'll be able to get to that a lot more in this coming month. It is coming with me on my road trip, as is Land That I Love, so we'll see what happens while I'm gone. We do generally tend to veg out while I'm at my stepmom's place there in California, because what I do is I make the drive, then I'm there for a few days before I make the drive back. I can't drive all the way there and then immediately turn around and drive back. That's just crazy. I mean, maybe some people can do it, but not me. All right. So while I'm there, we just hang out and whatever. And then on my way back, I'll be stopping in New Mexico to visit with my mom. I'm not sure for exactly how long yet. I just basically kind of wing it. It'll probably be around 3 days or so before I leave there to come back here. And so, yeah. What else do I got active going? Okay, Nutcracker Village, flea market baskets, the stitch-alongs are both doing really good. I do want to push harder on flea market baskets to try and finish that early before the stitch-along is officially over. So we'll see what happens with that in the coming month. And so yeah, for Christmas in July, I have a couple of choices on here. So Christmas Rules by Lizzie K is most likely what I'm going to start as we head into July. I'd like to also start Oh Holy Night Nativity, but I don't feel comfortable starting that until pandemic is done, because they're both on dark fabrics, and yeah, that's probably pretty self-explanatory. So I want to finish at least one, possibly two, but we'll see what happens. A lot's going to depend on what the weather is. A lot is going to depend on how much I can actually stitch while I'm away, which may or may not be a lot. I don't know. So who knows what my next video is going to look like. As far as when is that video is going to be, let's see here. It's going to be... Okay, hang on, honey. Let mommy finish talking first. Alrighty, so I do plan on doing a video when I get back from that trip with my daughter. But because I don't know how long that I'm going to stop and visit with my mom, I don't know exactly when that might be. It's going to be at least 2 weeks from now, but it could be a little bit longer than that. So if you figure in 2 weeks from now, that's going to be like June. I really should have looked at a calendar first, you guys, because I don't have one in front of me now. So that's going to be, let's see, the 9th is a Thursday. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So that's going to be around June 14th, 15th or so. But then will most likely be a couple of days after that. So we're probably looking at 2 weeks ahead from now. Probably around Friday of that week, whatever date that is. That might not be till like June 20th or something like that. I don't know, because I don't have a calendar right in front of me, like I said. So
because
that's roundabouts when to expect another video from me. So we'll see what happens. If a lot happens, woohoo! And if not, well, then hopefully I have a lot happen after that, between then and July. And before we close, couple more updates. Okay, you know what? Let's go ahead and show you her thing, because she wants to see it. I mean, she wants to show you it and let you see it. She wants to show you her famous art.
Yeah, that was my dad's.
What do you guys think? I might be able to
art.
sell this to a museum for like $1 million or something. What do you think?
It was my dad's mom's art.
Alright, so hang on to that, honey. Okay, so other updates. Things are going pretty good for the house, except for...
Mom,
Wait, honey, I'm talking, please. Alrighty. We're still waiting on that appraiser. And I'm like, are you serious? This guy got hired like 3 or 4 weeks ago now, and nobody has the reports back yet. And other news, last week we did some more financial stuff with the bank. I kind of felt like I was being probed by aliens, if you know what I mean. Because I haven't heard of anybody else having to do this, but like, I guess they kind of want to make sure that we don't have any other hidden debts or anything, because, okay, they're going to ask you for all of your bank statements for however long, okay? They're going to ask you for your tax returns for however far back, okay? And they're going to pull your credit score, okay? All of that's all normal stuff. What I've never heard of before is for them to actually request your credit card statements, not just your credit score, and pull that, which you'd think would show them everything anyways, but they actually wanted to look at the credit card statements. I guess because there's people who hide a lot of their debt that way and they only make their minimum payments, and maybe that doesn't show up on the credit reports. I don't know. But I was like, oh my God, what if they see like my 1, 2, 3 stitch purchases, or that I might have bought some stuff from Victoria's Secret or something, and so they decided that I can't have a house because they don't like those kind of purchases. I mean, not that I spent any kind of insane amount of money or anything, but it's just like all of a sudden when people are like, I mean, you know what I mean? It feels kind of invasive, don't you think? But, so I'm just like, whatever. It is what it is. I have all my stuff. Luckily, I pack everything like no tomorrow, because I have various other reasons why I've had to produce this or that as far back as the last 10 years. So I save everything. My husband thinks I'm kind of crazy for that reason, but he doesn't complain when I can produce the whatever it is that whoever it is wants at the time that they ask for it, right? So I dug out all these statements from the credit card, and we sent them over to the bank, and it's all good. It's like, it's amazing that it came back. It's exactly what we told them, because we told them, it's like, I've never paid a dime in interest in my entire life. Honey, will you wait a minute, please? I'm talking. That's the way that today's going. I've never paid any dime in interest or late fees or any of that. Like, the statement comes and I pay it off. That's it. Because it can be too easy to not do that, and then you're falling deeper and deeper into a hole. Like, I don't know what the interest rate on anybody else's credit cards is, but if I get that statement and I only pay the $35 minimum payment that they say that I can make, I'm going to be paying more in interest than I am in payments, and that's how you end up never paying off your credit card debt, okay? So, yeah. It was actually kind of funny, because the last 2 statements when they came, they said $0. Because I paid them off before, like, before the statement actually went out. And so, yeah, I think our highest one was just from Christmas last year, and even that was still less than half of what the credit card limit actually was. And so the guy was saying, yeah, we're used to seeing a lot more debt on these than what we see on yours. You guys are good. I'm just like, well, yeah. It was still kind of a weird feeling having to do that, but that's done. We just need to get this appraisal report back, and it's like, come on. Just one thing. That's the last thing that we're waiting on to be able to get these closing documents done, is that appraisal.
Mom, can I show
So yeah,
them?
if you can send any kind of good vibes to, like, you know, get this guy off his butt and send in those reports so that we can actually, like, you know, start construction and get the house going over here and get it from point A to point B, because seriously, that's all we have left to do, and we're all waiting on this one guy.
Mom, can I show
I need a break.
these?
Can you tell? So yeah,
Mom,
that'll be
can
good for
I
me
show
to escape
these?
out of here for a couple of weeks. Okay, fine. Yeah. Okay. Okay, I wore them. Now leave me alone now, okay?
Now can you show
All right.
us live?
No, okay, stop. Sorry, guys. But, so yeah, I'm going to escape out of this camper for a couple of weeks, which, believe me, I really need it for my mental health right now. Because this has been a lot of stress, a lot of pressure, and for far too long. I need a break. So I'm going to go and do that. and go get my daughter, because I have 3 kids, because I know you know that I have the one here with me. But I have another one who's older. He's 19. He's doing something outside with the dogs. I don't know what.
Yeah, that's Brian.
But the little is in here with me right now as I'm filming. Because if I send her outside, she's going to come in and out that sliding door, and that's going to be even worse than if I just keep her in here. So, yeah. But my middle, she still lives in California with her dad. So that's where I'm going on this road trip, is I'm going to go and get her, because I'll have her over the summer. And
Christmas.
that's going to be a vacation for me, to have a break out of here. My husband is not going because, number one, he needs to stay here and deal with the house stuff. All right?
And work. At Wabash.
And he has to work. He works at Wabash, as my daughter just said. And then, also, even if he could take the time off from work, I wouldn't want him to go with me anyways, because he has to stop and pee more than the kids do, and I don't feel like taking 5 days to make a one-way trip. Sorry. That's just the way that it is. I go from point A to point B as fast as I can while not speeding. And so, yeah. So there's been some people who was at church, and they were kind of worried, like, are you sure you'll be okay on that trip and be safe? And I was just like, I've made this trip quite a few times by myself, and I know where I'm stopping. I know the places to get gas. I know where I need to get gas. I like to keep my tank at about half. I mean, I don't like to go lower than about half a tank before I get gas on that long of a trip. But, so I know where all my gas and food stops are. I know the places that I do not want to be during certain times. Like Albuquerque after sunset, don't drive that. Okay? Those people, it's just a rat race. It's crazy. They drive so fast, and lane changing, it's crazy. So if you're going on a long road trip, don't go through Albuquerque after sunset. Just don't. I also don't want like going through the high desert of California during rush hour, because that can end up being stop and go traffic, and when it's super hot like that, that can be a very miserable experience too. And so I try to time the trip so that I avoid those kinds of things, and I'm also not in any one place for very long. I stop and sleep for about 5 hours at a time when I need to, and then I move on with my life. Now, what I'm going to be doing here after I'm done filming this video, which will be in the next couple minutes probably, so hang in there guys, you're almost there. I'm going to be packing up our stuff for the trip. Like, I've got snacks and stuff out in the van ready to go already. I'm going to pack up our clothes and all that kind of stuff, get them out there. And tomorrow is going to be all about rest and relaxation, because we will be leaving super early Thursday morning. I'm talking like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning is when we will be leaving here.
Yeah, the same time.
I say we because I'm taking the little with me on this trip to go and get her sister.
Yeah, that's
So she'll be woken up, putting her seat in the van, and she will go right back to sleep until our first stop when we have breakfast in Oklahoma City. So, yeah, that is where we're at. I think I pretty much went over everything. And yeah, I'll see all of you back here once I come back from my trip in about 2.5 weeks from now. So if I'm a little bit later than the 2 weeks, don't worry, I'll be back a little bit after that. But anyhow, take care, be safe, get a lot of stitching done. Let me know in the comments if you're also preparing for Christmas in July and what projects that you're going to be wanting to do then. Bye.